Roll call, please.
I can, Chair Sweetman here. Vice Chair Nevitt.
Here.
Commissioner Brainerd.
Here.
Commissioner Gallardo.
Present.
Commissioner Montgomery.
Present.
Commissioner Owens.
Yes.
And Commissioner
Here. We're all here.
All
Maybe
the
today
concern.
would be a good day to take a picture.
Oh, we can? Yeah, we can do
We
that.
all-
With.
One question.
We can do that.
What about it?
A photo with you.
A photo of all the
that's fine.
commissioners.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we
And
don't
I really
often
like
have a-
seeing your photo in the news.
Oh,
The front page.
Right.
I like that.
Okay, so Victor, would you lead us in a pledge of allegiance, please? Now that he's got his mouth full of donuts.
Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you.
So do we have any public comments?
No.
All right, did you all have a chance to review the minutes of the September 10th meeting? And I just want to double check, did everybody get their packet like Friday?
Yeah, it came Friday. Friday.
Okay.
Usually I get it a little sooner, but Friday, because I started worrying, I said, oh, and I thought it was you. Oh, her help is not there.
Usually we try and send it out the Wednesday prior.
Yes, that's usually when I used to get it, but this week, that's okay.
Good.
Thank you.
Sometimes in the past, we've had maybe the wrong address or you don't get delivery, and so that's good. All right, so everybody's read the minutes, and are there any corrections or additions? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, Clark moved, Marita seconded to approve the minutes of the September 10th meeting. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? All right. So now, report of the commission secretary who just got back from, is that you? Or- Yeah,
Yes.
I just want to make sure because Deanna was looking. So Renee was just in Spain and Ireland. And she flew back just for this meeting.
Just in time. So, the only thing that I need to touch base with you all on today is the holiday parade. So the holiday parade is set for December 7th. In the past few years, the commission has rode in a truck and represented senior services. So we do a parade float, and behind the parade float is the commission truck or in front of it. So is that something you would like to do this year? If so, how many? So I know what vehicle to make sure everyone fits.
Let's see.
It's a
I'll
Saturday.
go again. We just sit and wait.
Is, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's, isn't it first
Yeah.
Saturday? It's the parade,
Yes,
and that's first Saturday.
yes.
Right. Unfortunately, I'll be actually at a senior
Ah.
at my church every year. We go to one of the senior complexes and we sing carols and give gifts.
How lovely.
And
Is that in the morning or in the
in
afternoon?
the morning,
Same.
and then we go to lunch.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, so we usually meet
I
about
would love to do
8:30, 9 o'clock, and the parade gets started about 10 o'clock. So there is a little bit of waiting time right before, but we try to minimize that over the years.
That would be
You're gonna
nice.
be with
Very
Heritage
square.
Okay.
The parade is over,
It's all, yeah, it's all around.
but it's fun.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
on the 7th?
Yes.
yeah.
And where's the staging area?
It's about the same spot, so we'll pick you up at Wilson and,
Oh.
Oh, so
Bring
you
you
just
on
come
over.
here
yeah,
and
so
then
we'll,
go together.
yes. Just so it
Yeah, 'cause you can't
minimizes the
really
waiting.
park.
Yeah.
Yes, right, right.
There's no
Yeah,
parking.
we have-
Hey, I just saw your little, that's adorable.
So,
Thank you.
8 o'clock in Wilson.
So, well, I'll probably have you meet at 9 o'clock at Wilson,
Got it.
because it doesn't start till 10,
You'll see
so
me
we
every
minimize the wait time, 9:15. We have a meeting next month, but I just wanted, we could need to start getting the vehicles set for that, so I just need a number of who's thinking or planning. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm thinking / planning.
okay, sounds good. And then next month's meeting, I'll give you the times
Okay.
to meet and everything.
Right.
Okay,
There was, I think, our last meeting, we were talking about, do we want to do the pickup or do we want to do a car? And we
Oh,
want
that's
to
right.
do a pickup.
okay.
Somewhere you can see yourself.
Yeah.
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 We put some hay bales in the bags.
Right, costume.
You could,
Yeah.
okay,
And the theme of this year,
is,
Sounds.
Sounds like Christmas or something like that. It's my organization, we have our dilettantes in it.
okay, that's all I have for that agenda item.
Okay, so
Okay, I
new
put that back.
business. We have no old business. New business, senior services programs and events. So now this is Mary Sue and Deanna. So who goes first?
No PowerPoint today. So go ahead, Deanna, you're ready.
Okay, so, I just wanted to recap, September 13th, we had our Mexican Independence Day party at Wilson. It went over really, really well. The food was delicious, and we had about 110 people, raffles and music, and it was a really fun time had by all the participants, and they came in dressed in beautiful, dresses. I don't know the exact term for those dresses, but their folklorico
Yeah.
dresses and their tops, and
Oh,
it's just a
fun.
nice event, and the ladies really enjoy bringing that stuff out of their closet and, having an excuse to wear it. And then we had on September 20th, we had the Fall Prevention Forum, which I know a few of you guys attended, and that was at South Oxnard. And I think we had about 220 people, according to our little count. Watch that we were doing with kids.
I tried to get in, but I didn't know you had to be here by 10 o'clock. So they wouldn't let me in. Because they said they had run out of seats
It
and
was packed.
they said according to fire, you couldn't
Yeah.
get in.
Yeah.
So.
We had seats in front. Well, you got there early, I didn't get there.
Yeah, they
Didn't
took,
realize
they,
it
after a
was-
certain point, they let other people sit there.
I'm the only one in front.
Yeah, but it was, it's good that we had that good of a showing,
Oh, yeah, I think
we
it's wonderful
already,
that they turned me away.
had space though, like, they had to, according to fire hazards, we had to shut down, people from coming in, but it was a really, really great turnout. I know that Tri-County Century newspaper was there as well, so I'll probably be writing an article soon too.
Do you know if they might be planning another one since this was so successful?
I'm
So it's an annual event. They've done both Spanish and English versions, so the next one will probably be a Spanish version. We have a wrap-up meeting next week on it, so I'm sure we'll hear about the future plans, but it will still be my goal to get it back here as often as possible. They've done it in all of the cities here in the county, so
And so far it's just once a year.
the fall prevention, so they do two a year, a Spanish and an English.
Right.
Okay.
Well, maybe we could have it twice a year. As a
Right.
semi, maybe a quarter.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted
That's a lot of people.
They dress
And
super
Santa Paula was
diverse.
the
Oh,
center.
okay.
They have cakes with the Spanish and then the English.
Well, I know that they had it in Santa Paula and they just had a few people show up.
Right,
And so this, I'm just,
Yeah.
following up with what you said. When I got there, because I didn't get there until noon, and they said, oh, there's just not enough room. We need a bigger room. And then somebody else said from DC AAA, this is a problem. We have too many people, which is a good problem to have.
we were anticipating hoping for about 150 people. And so maxing out at 210 was the last count, but they're guessing that there's even additional from that count, but it's a good problem to have, and
It
it
is.
was honestly our goal to make sure that we got enough publicity out there that it was a great program.
And then, they served a really nice lunch, so lots of giveaways. There were vendor tables and So, I mean, the seniors got a lot out of the day, they really did. And then they had inoculations, and the people who had had shingle shots earlier, they got their last shingle shot. So, I mean, there was a lot going on.
They got a single shot at a prior event.
That's what they
It's
said,
just harder.
because your shingle shot.
Yeah, I know it's 2 stages.
Yeah, and so I said, can I get my shingle shot? And they said, actually, this is the second shot, so
Right.
the people, but it's just, I mean, the
Right.
services that they offered to the participants were just really, really great.
Yeah, there was some great community support. I mean, as far as the planning committee, it was countywide of, different organizations, hospitals, senior services programs. When we were meeting on a weekly basis, and it was really a good team effort, so. It was.
But too many people showed up.
Doggone it.
It's a good problem.
And we had it in a large location.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, we have bigger locations,
Oh,
so.
we Let's get into the.
Right.
We'll
Take it to the
promote
next
it.
level.
Yeah. I'm like, so I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So, and then October 30, I'm skipping ahead now, October 30th, we're participating in the Wii Bowling Tournament, and that's gonna be at the Global Senior Center in Thousand Oaks. We have 12 teams, coming together, and we actually have 10 people, attending that event, so Fernando's gonna drive a van over there with our Wii Bowling participants. And then October 31st, we're gonna have a Halloween celebration, and that's gonna be at South Oxnard Center from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're doing a pizza and salad lunch, and tickets are $8 or $3 if they wanna bring their own food and just have dessert and the entrance or raffle. So, that's a lot of fun. Everybody gets dressed up in costume, and we have a costume contest, and last year we did superheroes. I don't know what they're gonna plan this year. I think they said Loteria people. So it's a fun.
You said they had a
fun event.
theme?
Yeah, well, we dressed up as, directors and senior services in a theme,
Uh-huh.
but everybody else came dressed as whatever they wanted, and we did a whole costume contest, and people get really into it.
I
It's
do
really
know.
fun. Yeah,
They like that.
Yeah. yeah. We had a Michael Jackson impersonator last year. There was that dance, crazy, yeah. Had amazing dance moves, so it's a fun event, so if you guys wanna, come out to that, you're more than welcome. And I think that's all I have for senior services.
Thank you.
So I have a training coming up this Thursday for bone builders, new bone builder instructors. I have a few showing up and one canceled yesterday because it's always not understandable to me when I give you the times and then you say you can come and then 2 weeks later, you can't do those times. But anyway, so we've got that happening, and then I have Tai Chi at the end of this month. I'm recruiting instructors for Tai Chi. I think it's the 25th, 26th. It's a Friday, Saturday. Yeah, 25th and 26th. So we put out a press release. I'm hoping that the newspapers pick it up so that we can recruit some more people for that. Because particularly in Ventura, our Tai Chi classes are really overrun. I've got one with 50 people in it, it's just amazing. And I'm looking for a spot. We're trying to start a practice class, advanced class, whatever you want to call it. So, normally they're 12 weeks and you get taught each form in succession. Well, we've got people now who've been going to 3 or 4 classes, and they don't really need to be taught how to perform the forms, but they still, like my 94-year-old, she still needs to do it that often to prevent falls. I mean, it's a very big difference in her life. So a practice would be, and that way we can bring new people in to the classes that are actually more intensive and explanatory, educational. So I'm looking for a spot for that.
Can I say something?
Right.
At the forum, they had instructors up showing Tai Chi, so the audience. But in the audience, some of them got up and they were doing it. It was, it was just really impressive when you walk in and you see this quiet and this music and the movement, but some of them couldn't contain themselves, so.
Yeah, once they get into it, they're really into
On a location that might be a possibility is the housing on Palm, Ventura. AAA had a fall prevention class there periodically, and then I don't know how many people it can hold, but then, taking all the tables out and so forth would be probably a few.
I'm not sure where,
It's in the downtown area in Ventura.
okay,
It's
I know what
multi-story
you're talking
on
about
Palm.
okay. Because I did look at, there's some senior housing out on Olive
It could be.
And, but this was several years ago, I had talked to them. They wanted it to come through the city of Ventura, not through the city of Oxnard. There was some hangup that they had, so they turned me down, but I can look at that.
Okay.
Is that run by the county or the city, that housing?
I'm assuming it's run by the city, I think it's low income. But, I'm not sure.
And I have reached out, there's a new director for, the Salvation Army in Ventura.
Right.
And I've never gotten a contact back from them in the past. I met him at a meeting last week, and he said they were open to people using the facility, which would be a change. So I'm hoping, I've sent out an email to him to see it.
Now, my understanding from Sue's is that they're going to put a senior center into the Salvation Army building on the east end. And that the Salvation Army commander will still have an office, but that's going to be about it. Now, the other possibility would be Silvercrest, which is right next door.
Yeah,
And they've got a large dining room,
and I've been there before.
so you're familiar with it.
And so the difference between putting a class in there, which I wouldn't be opposed to, and putting this class in there, is this class, you have to have a certain level of expertise.
Right.
So going into a place where they're gonna want their
Their people.
people to come in, it doesn't work for this particular class.
Okay.
It would for a beginning class,
Mhm.
but it doesn't for the practice class where the instructor isn't supposed to be giving you too much in the way of instruction.
Okay.
So, and we met with them all, but they decided it was too loud, music in the mall. I think that was most of the problem. They pipe in music 24 hours a day. And music wasn't really conducive to the calm.
No.
Yeah, they want you shopping, they don't want you. So, anyway. yeah.
I was gonna suggest the Armory, over there, where the Volkswagen dealer used to be. Just
Yeah, kind of in that, I wanna say armpit.
Right.
Really, but it's like a corner,
Yeah.
where the 101 and the 126.
I doubt that gets a whole lot of usage, but it might be a good spot.
Okay. We have a class that should be starting over there in the Cancer Center, attached to CMH in January. My instructor's got some traveling that she plans on doing in the fall. But I've already met with them and they've approved it and they like the idea, so, it's just getting all that together. That would relieve some of the stress from the 50-person class, as will this practice class. I've told them, you can't be in the instruction class. You need to give room for new people to learn how to do this. So we have started a new Tai Chi class in Camarillo. So we're up to 9 classes now for Tai Chi, which is good. Sergio, who's bilingual, is teaching the class at Wilson, and it's slowly gaining traction and people are starting to come in. I can't remember, there's too many classes for him to say. But I want to say that that class is pretty new at this point.
At Wilson.
He's still adding people, yeah. Yeah, he's teaching Monday and Wednesday, I think it's from 1 to 2:30.
They start at least. Oh, I see.
I think it,
Because the schedule says June.
I know, that's wrong, sorry. A lot of them started in September, just they took the summer off or. they took a
It's
little
one
bit-
o'clock.
I'm sorry,
One. Is it one?
it's at 1 o'clock,
What?
No, it's up here, it's saying 9:30 in the morning.
So that's
not ours.
that's a different Tai Chi.
Oh, I hope it is, but
Yes.
I have a hard time, you know?
Wednesday, look
It's
like-
Wednesday was 9:32.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
there's
it's
no
one
bed.
in the morning.
Let me go down. Oh, now that's better, lunch hour.
Right.
We can now move.
Mhm.
I'm trying to get to the calendar.
Okay.
Well,
It's set to 1 o'clock. Starting always says June.
June,
Yeah,
yes.
cross
It
that
starts
off.
time. It says June 10th. So,
Cross that off.
oh, scratch that out.
Cross off starting.
Yeah, it started in June, but it's starting again now.
Oh, okay,
Um,
that's okay.
It started
Oh,
September
okay,
16th.
No, these are regular things that happen
Yeah.
every Tuesday, every
Right.
Wednesday. This is other stuff.
So the Wilson class started September 16th. And we like people to join by the third class because all the teaching is progressing. So basically, if somebody is interested in that class, I think Sergio is dedicated and will be willing to do this again in January if somebody's interested. Although actually, I think he may be taking January for travel.
Anybody travel?
Yeah, he goes overseas.
Oh, gotcha.
He's from Chile, so he likes to go home for
Summer, spend 6 weeks.
a month or so, yeah. Yeah, this summer there is. And then pickleball,
Oh, yes.
We've been holding a series of forums for what's the name of that park? All-inclusive playground. They got some money for that, we were hoping some of the pickleball people would come out and actually talk about the need for pickleball. We had 2 people come out to the last one and 1 person come out to the first one to talk about pickleball. So the showing hasn't been as impressive as I had hoped, but I think we're gonna get 4 temporary courts in the Wilson. It's just a matter of time.
Do you think that the South Oxnard Center will get the Tai Chi or whatever?
You know, my ability to have classes is totally dependent
Upon
on people volunteering.
people coming to, or,
People volunteering.
working to
If-
the instructors?
This is one of those things, if you build it, they will come. I have no problem.
Okay,
It's a little bit hard to get people here just because I don't have a big way to get the word out. Like in Ventura, they have a paper. Here we have the Star,
oh, right, that's all they have.
and the Star is hard to get into.
Oh, yeah,
And Camarillo has the 8th.
that's true.
They have the Tai Chi in bar, but it's a different Tai Chi. But you have to pay $5.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
every
It's not
Wednesday.
like-
Every Wednesday.
You
have to pay $5 to Wilson?
No, that's.
Well, we want
This is another Tai Chi, but
we want to
So if you know anybody who lives near South Oxnard and is interested
And doing what?
in being trained to offer the class, I'm sure
Oh,
that
yeah,
Deanna or her successor would be more than willing to have a free Tai Chi class at
yeah.
SOC. I just need instructors, I need volunteers that I can train to lead the class.
That's what I just heard. Loretta volunteered to
It's-
instruct on pickleball.
You just blended all the conversations.
Okay.
We do have somebody who will teach
Well,
classes. Anyway, I think that's my report.
Yeah.
That was an exciting report. We
A
had a
lot going on.
This is why the PowerPoint keeps the class on task.
That's
And I'm always looking for volunteers.
I'm not doing my job, but Renee and I were talking.
Yeah, I saw that.
I apologize. I got excited because, did anybody notice that they do toenail clipping?
Yes, I
That's
did,
been going on.
and I was wondering
I
about
know,
that.
but I just didn't need it until now.
Oh, right.
And I saw that, and somebody had approached me and asked, where can I get my aunt's toenails? Like, and I said, well, I thought they only did it once a month or periodically, every other week, which is huge.
I noticed that, and I said, well, we gotta check into that.
Yeah. So, and, you know, the thing is, people come and ask me about these things, and I don't always know. And
So
so I
we
got
just
really
call in
excited.
to make an appointment
Yeah.
for that, call in to the center.
So,
Yeah.
So it is
I
appointment,
see that.
Call Susan for it.
It's under, down here.
It's
in
not-
the-
Oh,
but
okay.
you call the center to get that contact.
On the backside?
Oh, is it?
Under Wilson.
Oh,
So-
under,
Yes.
oh, yes.
So in order,
So
you needed
where's the info for
to,
that? Right.
if you need to make an appointment, there on the bottom, there's a little key and it says pedicures must call
Okay.
Susan, so
Yes,
to
all right.
schedule an appointment.
So,
Yeah.
is Susan the one that does pedicures, or is she?
She's the toenail pedicure,
Oh,
she's the
okay.
one who takes care of your
Oh,
toes.
I
she
should
does
actually
is clean,
check that
you
to
have to
find
have
out
a nail
that
polish.
people see pedicure and they get, they think it's a
Fancy
I don't
stuff.
think
fancy
this person
style.
Oh,
has
no,
nail
this is
polish.
just probably soak your feet a little bit.
Yeah,
So
basics.
bump them up so they clip
Right.
toenails, buff them around.
The hygienic,
Right.
yeah.
But
Work back
it's
on the way you
huge
go.
for senior citizens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing
Yes,
that
it
can get
is.
to your toes.
Now, is there a fee for this, do you know? Oh, yeah, we just give her a tip.
I don't think so.
I thought there was a small fee.
Yeah, I thought it was like $5.
Oh, that's real good.
Bring your own scissors.
No,
No, you don't have,
No, no, she
yeah, but brings their own
Bring
business.
your own.
Oh,
It's
she
all-
goes,
she
yeah.
has-
She has to
That's what
verify.
we said.
Anyway.
Right, anyway, thank you. Thank whoever this,
Yeah,
that's
there's
great.
so many of them, it's hard to figure out.
Right, that's on the 17th.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's yet to happen. Okay, so, moving right along to our subcommittee reports. The Ventura County Area Agency on Aging Advisory Council. Clark and I both, represent the city of Oxnard on the council. We meet,
Yeah.
about 6 times a year.
Every odd month.
And we belong to subcommittees. I belong to housing, or no, nutrition and optimal aging. Clark, which
I belong to housing.
housing?
They had the transportation and housing combined, and then they split those. So they're two separate committees now.
And that's who co-sponsored the Matter of Balance event.
Hmm.
So we work closely with them. They are on Wednesday, October 23rd, they're having a meeting, and it's for the Ventura County Master Plan for Aging. So that's gonna take place at Spanish Hills Country Club in the
Okay.
morning. And I haven't registered for that yet, have you, Clark?
No, I haven't. In fact, I'm glad that you brought it up.
But they're bringing, aging into the forefront for Ventura County and gonna try and plan things around that, so.
Mary Sue will also be in attendance
Okay.
representing us.
Now,
So,
who do I call
um,
to register?
You do it online.
yeah, I'll get back to you, Clark, and I'll let you know.
Would you? Yeah, because apparently all of that's gone from my computer.
Uh-huh. Do you think you'll attend? It's,
I'd like to,
8:30 until 12:30, I think.
right, yeah.
At Spanish Hills out in Camarillo. I'll make a reservation for both of us, and I'll give them your email, so. you can get the
Oh, good, okay.
And I don't think I have anything else to report about. BC AAA. All right, so the new senior center, Kay?
Or Clark or Jeff. Only thing I can think of, is that, I think we've told you, but you need to be aware, the architectural firm was hired to do renderings of the new senior center. And they are almost complete with it, which is really exciting. They've gone through lots of steps to do this, including getting the city involved and not approval of this, but at least knowing that it's gonna happen from the fire department and all the other kind of departments that might get involved in the planning of this. And when they finalize this, we need to have a big announcement to start our fundraising part of this. So you just be aware that that's gonna happen. And we are in the midst of, planning this as well as doing master plans for marketing, master plans for the business side of it. And so there's just lots of things going on right now.
On our end, the noise assessment has been, the draft or final draft was sent to me yesterday evening. So today I plan on looking at that noise assessment, and myself and the project manager will be touching base and giving any feedback if necessary. The renderings we should have something by the end of this month, we're being told. So hopefully the next commission meeting, we can show some pretty pictures to you all.
They start here with our report.
Yeah. And then, based off of those two items, then we can go back to council and give them an update on where we are at with the project. So we need about a 6-week lead time on that in order to go to council. So we're looking at maybe December, which is holidays, so we're cutting it tight. So possibly December, January. But we'll have, okay. Because either way, everything will be ready to go, and fundraising can start even before going to council.
Sure.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have one of our subcommittees, the collaboration with local agencies, and that's Commissioner Gallardo, Commissioner Owens, Commissioner Yu. So do you have a report? Have you done anything?
As I told you last month, I've been calling Action about their help to go put carpet in the modern home. I haven't heard from them.
Then you haven't heard back?
I never.
It's just a personal thing going on. I'm trying to help somebody.
No, it's this,
The subcommittee? Because I just had somebody ask me if they wanted a ramp built, and I told them to call Action.
Yeah, that's what they do mostly.
But they're not responding to your phone calls.
But they said they will help their needs. But I was working for the carpet.
But what about your subcommittee?
Ms. Ellis, could you give me the name and address, contact person for a family that wants the rent built?
That's why I was giving you that look right now, since he has the carpenters.
That was, I knew that the Carpenters Union.
Yeah, I have to actually meet with Mercy, probably within the next week. But if I have a name, address, and some other information that will be pertinent, I'll just give it to him when I meet him. He'll make the phone call and set it all up. I do believe they pay for the materials, but I'm not sure on that. I'm not sure.
This is a friend of a friend situation,
No
and
problem.
so I'll get back to you, but
Oh, okay.
I told her, I said, I know the Carpenters Union does this, but I couldn't, now I remember that
Yeah.
you were the one.
Yeah, Mercy Urea is the president there. And instead of actually giving monetary donations, they give that type of donation that will benefit a person or a smaller community with something special.
They supply the materials.
I do believe they do, but that would be a good question to answer. I just don't know, but the labor, they'll come out with 10 guys and knock it out in 4 hours. Yeah. And that's what they do, and they got a set mind on what to do.
Well, this is, what we do, we advocate for other
Right.
seniors, and I was trying to remember,
Okay.
what you said, because I said they could call Action. But I'm putting together a little packet for all these
Okay.
things. This lady's husband's in the hospital, and he's gonna be released in 60 days, and she needs a ramp when
Yeah.
he gets home.
They do it on a Saturday, Saturday and or Sunday. But they try to do weekend projects and they get enough guys to be able to get in there and slam bam and they got it built.
So now going back to your subcommittee,
Right.
it's 3 people. Have you met?
No, we haven't met. I think that there's a little bit of confusion as to the direction that we're supposed to be taking. What we have here is, or what was just talked about, is helping individuals. My thought, as far as the committee was concerned, is to contact the various nonprofits to let them know that we're still alive, even though we couldn't give them any donation, and find out if there was anything that they needed that we possibly could assist in. I have lost that list, unfortunately, that was of the nonprofit and the for-profit list. And so I need to have that. But then we also need to have a meeting to identify who we're going to be talking to. I would assume that our priority would be any nonprofit, and very possibly, initially, the nonprofits that we made the donations to. That we live on.
Well, we'll get you that list. Yeah, Renee has it. I have it somewhere in my
Right.
paperwork, but you're back on track. That you can connect all these, because didn't we get a donation for Shop Ahoy?
Chappaqua and Gray Lodge did receive $2,500 through the city of Oxnard. It was out of the community donation from the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys football team. So they donated $10,000 to local agencies, and those were 2 of the agencies that received some of the funds. No.
Renee, can I ask a favor too? Could you send me a list of the donations that we gave last year, the individuals and so forth?
Sure.
I've got it somewhere in the archives, but I'm not sure where.
Well, I'm gonna encourage you to take the lead on this
Okay.
with Lourdes
And so this,
and Victor, yeah.
Victor?
this might be something that, having myself sit in with the 3 of you might be beneficial. We had planned for October to have a health fair, which is really an agency fair. So we can get all the agencies in one room and basically give seniors the opportunity to get to know the various programs that are outside of our centers that provide support. We didn't do that because of fall prevention. So we just had our fall prevention forum, so that all of our energy went into that, and we invited many agencies to that forum. So it was, a drop in the bucket to go in the way of the fall prevention forum versus us doing a second one a week later, 2 weeks later. But I think when the commission first started discussing this goal, it was, how do we make sure that Oxnard is still present within these agencies? They're still providing services within the agencies. And how do we as a commission stay knowledgeable of the programs that are being offered? And so I think, that's really the burning question of how do we make sure that we're still knowledgeable? Because the benefit of the grants was there was a presentation every month, whether it was by a commissioner going out and visiting, or it was the agency coming in and presenting. And so now that we've done away with the grants, we haven't had that set of collaboration between the agencies and ourselves. So that's the burning question, I think. How do we continue that? So I am more than willing to meet with the 3 of you and help out in any way to target this goal that you would like, or you can use office space also.
Sure, I think having a collective meeting would be good.
Yes.
Did you understand, Victor, we had $42,000. 44,600.
And 44
And
cents.
so people would, organizations, nonprofits would apply for
Grant funds.
grant funds. And so every year, and that was the big part of our function, was deciding And so we had 10 or 11 organizations that we gave anywhere from $5,000 to $8,000. And then the city went broke, and we're not allowed to do that. But we don't want to lose our relationship with these agencies. They're wonderful agencies. So it'll be a little learning process for you.
Could we piggyback on the health fair that is held at the Guadalupe Church this month of October? Are you familiar with that?
I am familiar with that.
That's a Lions-sponsored event.
Yeah.
And it's held every year. But they get close to 1,000 participants. And they give out glasses, they have all the doctors there.
St. John's is very involved in that one, right?
Okay, well, actually, I'm sure there are because they are local, but the doctors actually come from all over Southern California. It's a group of Indian doctors. It's part of their religion mission to offer their medical experience and expertise. And they got together with somebody, the Lions, I suppose. That's where we hold the health fair, but it's at the end of the month. And maybe it
Give
might
me
be,
information, yeah.
sure, I can get that for you.
Oh, that'd be great.
But
Oh,
that's
I-
open to anybody, it's
Yes,
not
it
just seniors.
Yes, it's open to anybody. They actually have a very good vegetarian lunch. And they also give away 2 bags of groceries.
Wow.
Yeah,
Per person?
per person, yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So
I
it's-
would, if there's a way to get RSVP a table there, I'd love to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, because in the
Classes.
parking lot, there's all kinds of, the canopy tents, and a lot of people have tents, out there from different, medical offices, agencies, but I'll give you a number of them.
No, is it one that like to stand down with the do for the veterans?
Now, describe that one for me?
Well, with the stand down, it'll be at a school or whatever, a large location. And it's usually for a couple of days where they have medical professionals come in, dentists, doctors,
Correct,
this type of thing. They provide food. I'm not
Yes.
sure if they provide showers and so forth. But it sounds similar, but it's different, what you're describing.
Very similar, but I like that idea of having a shower trailer.
I do too, and I don't know if they have one.
Well, they don't have one at the Guadalupe event.
Pardon me?
They don't have one at the Guadalupe event,
Okay,
but I really like that concept of the shower trailers. When I rode my bicycle from San Francisco to LA for one of the fundraisers, and I said, wow, these trailers are great. They're wonderful for the homeless or anybody else. But I don't know if they have one there, but I'm gonna bring that one up.
okay.
Yeah.
What month?
It's this month in October. Yes.
Remember the date?
Let me see if I have it here. I do wanna say it's the 28th, but is that, let me look. at
That's
that.
not a weekend.
Okay, then it's not.
25, 26,
I'll tell you right
27.
now,
26, 27 is a weekend.
27. It's the 20th or the 26th? And it's at Guadalupe Church. They utilize the parking lot and the classroom.
And so the Lions Club's organizing,
Yes.
fabulous.
It'd be great to have a senior there with RSVP.
Okay, well, then Clark, you will coordinate with Renee
Yeah.
and get together for your little
Mhm.
subcommittee.
Right.
And it's all that collaboration, what Victor has to offer
Mhm.
and these other organizations. And I'm still getting things from caregivers because they have regular events. And I had developed a relationship with Tammy from caregivers. And so it's just nice to keep those relationships up.
May I continue on that item? For the collaboration, I actually went to a local union meeting at the port and took a couple of flyers from the past and told the members that were over 60, 62, 65, and expressed to them that these senior citizen centers are all over town. And they have friends that retired last year, 5 years ago, that they should be at least let them know what was out there for them to use. And then, there was something, last night at the Waimimi City Council meeting, they have a group of Filipino ladies in South Oxnard that are sort of like hospice health caregivers. Are you familiar with them?
It's,
Yes.
mostly are nurses.
Well, these are volunteer ladies. There was 12 of them there last night. They all got recognition. But,
I have to see the name,
yes, let me see if I wrote that down.
because mostly they're nurses.
Yeah, these were all volunteers. They may have been in the medical profession before, but, I do not have that, just that they got acknowledged. But I thought that was pretty cool. They got a standing ovation for their help.
They're seniors.
Yes, and they are seniors. They wear little white hats.
Okay.
Yes, and, they're all from South Oxnard. And they go and spend 2 to 4 hours at different homes,
Very nice.
helping things out.
Because they're all retired nurses.
Okay, didn't think about that.
Yeah,
That's probably
I
true
will
though.
ask. I will
Yeah.
ask.
Yeah, everybody liked the fact that they were all volunteers.
Okay. So, this is gonna be a short meeting. Commission comments. I wanted to tell you that I did have another meeting. It was the head of the CAGS, Commission.
Community action. Community.
Anyway, what we are, with Ashley Golden, who's the assistant city manager, and Michelle Ascension. And they're trying to get us to align with one another. And they like our model of doing goals and, how we approach helping senior citizens. So they're hoping that the other commissions will kind of follow our model. And they're also developing bylaws that we'll all adopt. So we don't have our own bylaws. In the past, we've had our own bylaws, but they're doing bylaws for the CAGs. And so I had thought that maybe we should have a subcommittee to do the bylaws, but I guess not, because they're gonna draft the bylaws. So, and it's been interesting, that we are the model. So I think that's great. And I also wanted to bring to your attention, open enrollment for Medicare has started. So it's the next 3 months. So if you want to change your Medicare provider, now is the time. And you probably all know that, but other seniors don't always know that. So it's good that you share. And if you look on the calendar again, you'll see that there's counseling for on the 22nd, high cap of open enrollment. On the 16th, high cap, Medicare changes. And SOC, well, that's Vista,
Or they're all listed.
Palm Vista. So, study the calendar, just like I just did, found out, because somebody wanted to know how they could get their aunt's toenails clipped. And so here it is. There's just so much that we offer the community. They used to have Braille. They don't do that anymore, very soon. I see there's a low vision wellness clinic.
That's it, that's right.
Yeah.
On Mondays,
Yeah.
at Wilson.
And so if you have anybody that had every Monday at Wilson. Yeah, it used to be in the afternoon. Did you see Norman drop the diamond?
No.
Yeah. For years, this man, Norman Van Arsdale, would go and teach Braille and help people.
But he also was blind, wasn't
Yeah, he was
he?
blind. He became
overcame
blind.
that to share with other people how.
He became blind when he was 50. And he had to learn. It's an old language. Anyway, there's just lots going on. So study this like I didn't until this morning. And there's a flu vaccination clinic.
The flu season's supposed to be really bad this year.
And you know that they have a special vaccine for older people that has more strains of the flu.
I just got my flu and I asked about that and they told me that the regular flu covers 4 types of flus. The special one that they encouraged last year for seniors to get only has 3, but they're double the dosage. So you have to choose, do you want the special one with 3 kinds covered, but it's double dosage, or the one that has 4 kinds, single dosage?
Can you get both?
No.
Then you get triple dosage, right?
You have to choose.
That's,
So anyway, but yeah, most important, get a flu shot.
It's so interesting. I'll share it with everybody that BC AAA has a technology person, Martine.
Yeah.
And he was at the fall prevention forum. He'd had a flu shot the day before and he had a violent reaction. And he had to leave. So somebody had to drive him all the way back to Ventura, Loring did. And, but I've never heard of anybody having such a violent reaction.
That's why I don't get one. I've had one, but I get that long.
Yeah.
And then I had that pneumonia one this year and it attacked me too. I couldn't walk for 2 days.
Oh, wow.
My goodness.
Not bad for me. I just had to stay.
Well, as a volunteer at the hospital,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
required
yeah.
to get a flu shot. If I don't, then I have to wear a mask, and all the employees too.
Yeah.
I was never a fan of flu shots.
Somebody got the shingles.
Oh, right.
She went camping and then she came and she had shingles.
I
It
had
had
that.
nothing to do with that, no.
Are there any,
Can I share one thing also? I forgot to mention, our out to lunch bunch group, we're now announcing ahead of time where we're meeting because we haven't been inundated by people. They're trying something new this month. On October 16th, they're going to a happy hour at the Waterside Restaurant along,
What year of the week is that?
That's Wednesday. They're going at 3:30.
do you have a van to?
For your time.
oh,
Yeah,
But,
you have
There's
a
Bible
van
study.
service or an Uber afterwards?
a lot of things are happening.
no, and some of the folks were saying they don't drink. So. we're
Sure,
not trying-
right, you're
But we're
right.
telling them that, this was an opportunity to get lower cost food, the little plates that are.
That's right.
Oh, right.
That are on for happy hour. So we're doing that October the 16th at 3:30 at the Waterside Restaurant. And then in December, we're not doing anything in November because everything, October, November, December, everything happens at the end of the month, right? So that's why we moved it up a week for this month. We're not doing November because it's so close to Thanksgiving. And then in December, we're meeting on the 11th at Heritage Square at La Dulce Vida.
Oh.
Because we figured it would be decorated for the holidays, so folks who might want to go out and celebrate the holidays. And I'm gonna have them arrange to see the gingerbread houses that are there, so it's kind of like the whole excursion within Oxnard, the whole excursion. So they'll have lunch at La Dolce Vita and then go to see the gingerbread houses. And that's on December the 11th at 11:30.
Would they like a tour prior? There is a $3 charge for the tour.
I'll ask Lori, she's kind of leading it. We
We can do it
have
before,
some
like
input,
before
but-
lunch and do it, it takes, but we're, gotta plan an hour. but we can do it.
Okay, I'll ask her. And we have a beautiful new flyer that was designed by Andrew in our office. So it's not something that came up together. Somebody who actually knows a little bit about art and, yeah, so I'm pretty happy about that. We're distributing those. And I didn't talk about stop either, I forgot. Our stop presentation, our first stop, the opioid program, seniors tackling the opioid problem. Our first presentation is this Wednesday. Tomorrow, we've got somebody coming in to talk about the crisis kind of in an overall. Somebody who actually works at Genesis programs, sees just a lot of the impact of the opioid addiction on families and stuff. So she's coming in to talk. And we've arranged to do quarterly pickups with the PD now for drugs. And that's not happening this month. It's November.
Did you hear that one day sell the opioid drugs? They buy it in the pharmacy for $1.
I had
And
heard
then they
that,
sell it for $20.
yeah, that was one of the things that the Genesis people said, that a lot of the seniors are getting the opioids, but they're using it as an income generator for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't
are
stop that.
there- Victor?
I have two comments. I'd like to piggyback on that. My wife had cancer like 12 years ago. She broke her back. Couldn't walk for 23 months. But she was on medication for all eight or 9 years. And earlier this year, she decided she was gonna get off because of all the news and everything
Yeah.
that's circulating. She reacted so bad she didn't tell me she was doing this. She did it on her own, and I had so many occasions where I thought, she's keeping something from me. She's got cancer again. I mean, she was just going off on me. I mean,
And that's
as
not
nice
why.
as you know she is,
Right,
let me
right,
tell you, she
that's
was
not
Bob. Bob stands for bitter, old.
Never heard that
I
one.
never heard that one either.
We just discovered this 2 weeks ago, so she has two personalities, one's Bob and one's Deer. But yeah, it can really affect one's personality when you're draining yourself off of that prescribed medication. And the other item that I'd like to bring up, just to throw this out to you, last Wednesday, a Vietnam veteran was buried here, had his service actually. He was cremated afterwards. He was a Purple Heart awardee. He was also a Silver Star awardee. But someone at work told me about him and that his ashes were going to be interned in Arlington National Cemetery. So thinking it was 3,000 miles away, I thought, wow, the widow's gonna go probably, if there's a widow. Maybe a son or a daughter will go, but how many of the family were gonna go all the way to Arlington? So I called up my daughter, and she and her husband are gonna go in uniform to the funeral. So they're gonna represent my friend, and or if anybody wants to know where they're from, my daughter will say they're from Hudson. But, my daughter and her husband are both colonels and in Washington. So, we're gonna have somebody at that event.
Well, thank you for that.
Very nice.
Thank you for that.
That should be very comforting to the family.
Yes, yes.
Can that go into our, our little newsletter, but, a calendar or something about that?
Sort of telling a little story
Story
about the
about-
senior.
yeah.
If you can give me information, we can.
Like put it, instead of one person, we could, here, instead of hearing you one person, you could put that information. It's a
Okay.
nice thing to know that,
Mhm.
that would be great.
And the person, the deceased person, his name was Harry Cortez.
Well, right, work with.
Yes, I will,
provide them,
I will,
yeah,
I'm just throwing that one out for you.
Okay.
I don't know anything about him because I've only been here X amount of years,
Yeah, but.
but, he just, it was conversation and
That could even be on Facebook.
Or even just do things on Facebook, yeah.
And the delay will be the fact that, after he was cremated, they actually have to apply to
Yes, you do.
the Department of Defense
Right.
to get a spot, and then they give you a time and a date. Yeah, so it could be a week, it could be a month, it could be 6 weeks.
But with just the fact that, you know, someone made arrangements and this is gonna happen.
Sure.
You know, I think it's a nice.
Yeah, he's from Oxnard.
Well, thanks for sharing that. That's wonderful. All right, are there any other commission comments? Do you have any suggestions for future agenda items? Jeff, my sidekick here, has been unusually quiet.
We didn't even talk about Tai Chi this time.
Now you did all the Tai Chi work.
So, all right,
We're on the way in Seabridge. And that's good.
okay, so our next meeting is Tuesday, November 12th, and it'll be here in the library. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Okay,
Second.
Clark moved and my sidekick here
Like you said,
seconded.
I would speak.
So, finally, we'll know you, yeah. All right, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carried, we're adjourned.
That's the last meeting of the year.
No, one more.
We got
I
one.
said that.
Oh, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
November.
Of the year.